Welcome back. Have you ever had to go to a friend's new house and the directions they give are less than clear? Go past the red truck on the side of the road, then turn at the purple fruit stand. Wait, what? Eventually, you may just stop or give up. The classroom is no different. Unclear directions can lead to students stopping or giving up. Let's take a look at a few ways to avoid this type of confusion. All right, so let's jump right into the importance of teachers using clear and concise directions. So we're going to start with a definition, look at the importance, some strategies, common mistakes, benefits and examples, and some keys to remember. So when we talk about clear directions, we're talking about directions communicate exactly what is expected for students to do, how they're going to do it, and when it should be completed. We use familiar language, logical sequencing, and information students need at that moment, right? It doesn't mean incomplete. It doesn't mean you leave stuff out and try to reiterate it later. It means removing unnecessary words and preserving the essential details. So effective instructions answer, what am I doing, with whom, for how long, and what does success look like? So the importance, students are more likely to begin the task quickly and accurately when expectations are easy to understand. I know what I'm doing, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. It protects instructional minutes because you, as the instructor, you don't have to keep repeating yourself, answering questions, following up, restarting, making corrections and things like that. You can just, the instructions are clear, students can get started, and now you can serve as a coach or a guide using your proximity in order to support students. Then you have clarity reduces cognitive overload. When directions are unclear, it can stress the brain, as the intro showed, and eventually students are like, enough, I'm just not going to do it. And then strong directions support equitable access for multilingual learners and students with disability who may need extra processing time. So the cost of unclear directions. Students may appear off task, and they may not start at all because they're not sure what to do. Another cost is repeated teacher explanations, interrupt momentum, and increase frustration. So I wasn't clear with my directions. I go over to Johnny to explain. Boom, I'm explaining to Johnny. Susie hears me say something to Johnny. Now she has a question. Susie's question gets answered. Now Tamika has a question. So these are the cost of unclear directions. So then you have different students may interpret the same task differently, creating inconsistent outcomes. So with those clear directions, you can avoid this, and you can avoid confusion escalating into behavior problems, dependence on the teacher, and lost learning time. All these things emerge as a result of unclear directions. So what are some things we should consider when we're constructing our directions? Age and developmental level. We want to match vocabulary and length of steps to the learners. You don't want to give the dissertation process to kindergartners, right? Because that's going to be too much for them, right? But you also don't want to give kindergarten level instructions to, dissertation students, because it doesn't match their developmental level, okay? Task complexity. Unfamiliar steps or multi-step work requires chunking and modeling, and also visual support. So you want to chunk it up, show exactly what it looks like, and then provide visual supports. You want to also consider students' needs, any language proficiencies, attention span, memory processing speeds, and accessibility. The environment, reduce competing noise and gain attention before giving critical information. This is something I've done in the past. I've seen other teachers do it. They just keep giving instructions. Oh, well, if y'all don't get it, y'all not going to get it. you're not punishing the students. You're punishing yourself as the teacher because you are going to explain those instructions over and over again. I don't care how many times you say, I'm not going to repeat it. I'm not going to repeat it. Yes, you will. Eventually you will. Okay? That's reality. So it's better to wait, reduce the noise, then give instructions. And then success criteria. Know what a correct start and finished product should look like. Okay? Students should have a clear understanding of what it should look like when I'm finished, how I should get started. So a couple of strategies. You want to keep it short and specific. The core practice, use direct verbs, familiar words, and only essential information. Okay. So in practice, instead of saying, okay, everyone, what I want you to do now is, we're going to say, open up to page 42, read paragraphs 1 through 3, underline 2 key ideas. There's no question as to what I'm supposed to be doing. Those directions are clear and concise, right? So you want to sequence step by step, multi-step directions in a logical order, as well as chunking. So we want to chunk it. First, we're going to do this. Next, we're going to do this. Finally, we're going to do this. And then you pause between the phases when the task is demanding. So first, we're going to do this. Let's go ahead and do it. All right, next, we're going to do this. So if it's a very complex process, you want to walk them through step by step by using chunking, rather than go through all the steps and then have to come back and still chunk it because the process was so complex, I forgot what I was supposed to do in step number 1. You want to definitely use multiple modalities, spoken directions with written steps, visuals, gestures, exemplars, or project checklists, in this case a rubric as well, that would benefit. So in practice, we're going to say it, we're going to show it, and leave it visible. They shouldn't have to rely on their memory. Oh, what did Mr. G say we supposed to do? What are we supposed to be doing? No, they should have a visual that they can refer back to, and then if you need to, you can come through and clarify. You definitely want to check for understanding. Ask students to restate, demonstrate, or identify the first step instead of only asking, do you understand? Because as soon as you say, does everyone understand? All the heads are going to nod because they're ready to move on. We'll figure it out later. Just tell Mr. G we understand so we can move on. Okay? Instead, tell your partner what you will do first, right? So they're paired up. Just turn to your neighbor, tell them what you're going to do first. Show me where your work will be submitted. So you want them to demonstrate that they have an understanding rather than just nodding their head or saying yes. So you want to model success. Show what the process and finished product look like. I fell victim to this early on too. I would come up with a lesson plan and I hadn't thought about the end product or had an example or exemplar or a non-example even for students to refer to. It was just like, well, we'll see. You know what I mean? So you definitely want to have something for them to look at to show what a finished product may look like. It doesn't have to, be identical, but at least they have an idea of, okay, this is the direction we're trying to go into. You want to make sure that you can use the timeline style, use predictable language and procedures for common tasks and transitions. So you repeat common cue language so students recognize expectations quickly and independently, right? So some common pitfalls: too many words, vague language, do your best, work on this. This was a learning process for me. Just do your best. Oh, what should it look like? Just try it, because I'm trying to give them some autonomy, but at the same time, they do need structure, right? So directions during noise, we just talked about that. Assuming understanding. I'm going to assume that silence or nodding heads show that students understand what's going on, not even close. Too many steps at once and changing expectations mid-task. This is a big one because you may prepare the lesson plan and maybe you haven't gone through the whole product, right? You're just, hoping that this will be the end product, right? But then you realize, oh, you know what, that's not going to work. And now I have to start changing things up. Think about your lesson plan, think about the project, think about the activity in detail from start to finish. That way you can account for any missteps ahead of time. Because if you change expectations, especially if you change them more than once, students start to get frustrated and they may end up stopping. So what are the benefits of clear directions? It builds students' confidence, it builds their independence, which as instructors is ideal because now, again, you can use your proximity, go around, help coach, provide individual instruction, differentiation, all those types of things. Engagement, everybody's engaged, you have access, and then ultimately achievement because they've seen examples. The teacher benefits, efficiency, fewer repeated explanations and task restarts. This is probably the biggest benefit, the efficiency. If my directions are clear and concise, I can not have to repeat myself over and over and over again, the same thing, right? You have better management, you're preventing off-task behaviors, you can get feedback, you can give feedback to students because again, you're using proximity to move around. Relationships are better because everybody has a clear understanding. Frustrations are low, and then you have more time for meaningful instructions. Overall school benefit, consistency, learning time, climate, equity, and ultimately the culture reinforces a school-wide focus on high expectations and support. Clarity as a classroom management strategy. So there's certain things that you want to do before the task, during the task, and after the task. These are respective tasks that you come up with in your lesson plan. Before the task, you want to gain their attention, state it, identify the materials, set the timeline. You set the tone for everything, right? During the task, again, you want to have the directions visible, redirect to the posted steps, reinforce students who follow the routine. Oh, you know what, Charles? Great job over there. Great job over there. You are following the steps accurately. If you guys want to know what's going on, look at Charles over here. Oh, Julie, you're doing a good job too, right? And then after the task, use consistent finish routine. You want to have a routine for how they're going to close out this task, collect and submit work, and transition with a brief familiar cue. So clear directions support academic achievement. Students can devote more working memory to the academic content rather than focusing on the instructions. Accurate tasks start to increase the likelihood that practice matches the learning objective, right? So if you have clear directions and students are completing those clear directions, it is more likely that they are going to achieve the objective. You have better evidence of what students know because the errors about the procedures are reduced, right? So a lot of times we get, whether we realize it or not, we get erroneous work because our directions weren't clear. We don't like to admit that, but simply by providing those clear directions, we can focus more on what they know rather than did they understand the directions. And then clear success criteria makes self-monitoring and feedback more meaningful. They know what the expectation is. Oh, there's a rubric. Oh, you didn't hit this. You didn't hit this. You didn't hit this. Oh, you did a great job on this. Let's talk about how we can improve those other areas. And then consistent routines help students develop stronger executive function and self-management habits. So let's look at some grade band examples. As always, they're interchangeable, but elementary examples: independent reading, clear, concise instruction or directions, choose one book, read for 12 minutes, put one sticky note beside a surprising part. You can't get any simpler than that, right? We have cleanup, use the same 3-part cue daily, materials away, area check, meet on carpet. Clear, concise instructions and directions. Middle school, let's look at the collaborative discussion. State who speaks first, the time limit, evidence requirement, and how the group records to the collective thinking, right? Digital assignment, show the exact platform, file name, submission location, and deadline. High school, for a complex project, break the assignment into milestones with visible deliverables and checkpoints. This will be similar to the reference to the dissertation earlier. When you write the dissertation, you have your background research, your literature review, boom, boom. So it's a process that gets broken down. You don't write the whole dissertation at one point, right? You're breaking it up into sections and chapters, and you build accordingly. So some keys to remember: gain attention first, use fewer targeted words, chunk complex tasks, make directions visible, check for understanding, and teach routines explicitly. If you're not familiar with this last one, check out our video on the importance of routines. So to close out, a couple of reflection questions. Which classroom directions do you repeat most often? Think about that to yourself, and that's where you can start. Are your directions visible after you finish speaking? So do you show the PowerPoint and then the PowerPoint disappears with all the instructions on it or directions on it, or does it stay up? Or are those, directions projected somewhere? Are they printed out for the students? Are they available on their Chromebooks? What have you? And what one routine could you simplify this week with clearer directions? Thank you. We hope that was helpful. Remember, the lesson is only as good as the instructions given. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.